Japan's low birth rate prompted the government to implement a new law. They developed a system of matchmaking in which they give each person who turns 16 a designated spouse. Any other type of romantic relationship is prohibited, and offenders will be disciplined in class. As Yukari Najima stares intently at Misuki in his classroom, he muses on the meaning of love. His friend suddenly cuts him off and declares that he wants to fall in love. Yukari, who has declared he will not get married, is baffled by what is happening until he realizes that his friend turned 16 and has received notification of his future spouse. Once more, his friend reminds him that he wants to love and not just accept the girlfriend the government airdropped as part of its breeding program. Misiki then joins him in requesting that none of his friends ever get married. Later on that day, Yuki returns home and rests. He is aware that he does not desire a secure future with assistance from the Japanese government. Rather, he only desires to confess to Misuki and recall the incident. He worries that Misuki will draw the attention of the government and musters all of his courage to ask her out after she gave her half of his eraser back in 5th grade. However, Misuki doesn't remember him the following morning, and he apologizes for interrupting her. However, the opportunity is lost, and he informs Misuki that he will meet her by the park at 6 p.m., waiting for her. No matter what, skip a few hours, and it's already 6:27 o'clock. Due to Misuki's tardiness, Yukari assumes she won't attend. After some time passes, the police show up and inform him that it is already 10:30 p.m. Yukari offers his regrets and promises to return home as soon as he is ready to leave. Misuki apologizes for being late, stops him, and they sit on a bench together to talk. Yukari confesses to Misuki that he likes her despite being a nervous wreck. Misuki begins to sob, and Yukari quickly offers her condolences. She tells Yukari that she likes him too, after completely shifting from Yukari hugs what he hears from her. Misaki tells her that they have been in love for 5 years and begs for an eternal relationship. Then Misaki goes in for a kiss, climbing up on top of him and giving him a French kiss that most of you will never get to have. But at 12, Yukari's phone rings, and he gets a message from the authorities. When he turns 16 years old, the Japanese government texts him to inform him that Misaki will be his wife, just as he is about to show Misaki the message. When his phone cuts out, department agents show up and hand him his official document. When Yukari scans the entire paper and discovers that Senator Rurina Misaki, a 16-year-old girl, is his assigned wife, he breaks down in tears and flees. Assuring her that he loves her, Yukari catches up to her and gives her a bear hug. The following day, Yukai and his family visit his assigned wife and her family. When Yukai first sees Rurina, he hides behind the door, stunned by how stunning she is. When she introduces herself, however, Yukai doesn't seem offended, and Marina throws her jacket at him, calling him rude for not even pretending to be interested in her before leaving the room. Rurina drags Yukari inside after he enters a room where she's hiding after leaving the room to look for her. Rurina informs him that she's basically finished with the apology when Yukai apologizes to her. Yukari tells her about Misuki and how much he loves her during the marriage portion. Rurina, whose curiosity is at an all-time high, decides to play the best girl by offering to be Yukari's wingwoman in order to learn Misuki's true feelings. The following day, Yukari's friends are going crazy because they think his future wife is adorable. Later, when he goes to see Rurina, he discovers her in the hospital. She explains to him that she is acting ill because she finds it difficult to interact with many people. As the two are leaving, Ruby tells Yukari that he wishes to learn more about his relationship with Misuki. Rurina then goes after Misuki after Yukai points her out as she passes the school. She introduces herself after her, and the two go to a restaurant to have a conversation. When Rurina interviews Misuki and asks her how she really feels about Yukari, Misuki begins by listing the qualities of Yukari that she likes, which surprises Rurina because they are probably not the qualities she had in mind. After that initial encounter, the two quickly become friends, which makes Rurina extremely happy as she has finally made her first friend. A few days later, Yukari pays a visit to Rurina. He discovers Misaki there as well. Misuki is uncomfortable and tells her she must leave. However, Rurina counters that they aren't even dating, and the two begin engaging in girl talk. Misuki is shocked by Rurina's command to kiss her, so she exits the room. Later, she returns because she could not let this chance pass. However, just as Misaki is about to kiss him, Yukari suddenly realizes what is happening and turns away. Although Marina is fixated on them, something is wrong with her. As soon as Misiki notices that they are staring at each other, she bids them farewell. However, before she departs, Misuki tells Rorina that she wants her to fall in love with Yukari, and that she's probably not the right girl. Rorina gives Yukari daily orders to kiss Misuki in order for him to return to the room. Then go outside and meet Nisaka, who insults Rorina the following day by calling her a virgin. Misiki accepts Yukari's invitation after hearing about Rorina's plan. When Nisaka notices this, she chooses not to interrupt them. In Nisaka, the school year is over. Yukari stole a kiss from Yukari and is now dozing off in the classroom. He is awakened by the text message from Nisaka. Then, Yukari queries him on his opinion of Misuki the Saka. Tells him that he does, but then quickly adds, "I'm just kidding," reassuring Yukari. The following day, Rorina pays a visit to Nejima's home. She asks Yukari how he fell in love with Misiki when they visit his room after dinner. Later, FBI agents show up and inquire about their sexual activity. The agents ask the two if they have joined Facebook yet, but when they reply that they haven't, they are informed that they must attend a meeting in a few days in order to leave Facebook. Agents also inquire about their address knowledge, which worries Yukari the following day. They assist Misiki with her schoolwork, before asking if she has received her notice. Misiki replies that she hasn't, explaining that it concerns a family business. They then kiss. Once more, later that evening, Rorina tells Yukari they're going to start a family. As he searches for the two girls, Yukari invites Nisaka to join him on vacation at the campground. Accidentally, Rorina is seen by Yukari. Later that night, after she trips and hurts herself, he carries her back to base. Yukari queries Nisaka about possible secrets. Nisaka almost confesses to him that he kissed Yukari, but our guy is interrupted. After the four of them go for a walk outside, Rorina decides to divide the group. Misiki asks Yukari if he wants to hold hands after setting them up, and while pursuing a firefly, he concurs. Misiki, however, missteps and tumbles. When Yukari tries to save her, Misuki pulls him down and puts him in an uncomfortable situation. Misuki instructs Yukai to remain in that position for a few minutes, before Rorina and Nisaka come across them as they are leaving. When did Yukari become a man? Nisaka queries. That Yukari refutes the following day. Misiki rejects his attempts to speak with her, so Yukari and Takeda, who preferred to fall in love rather than get married at random, head over to the state-sponsored family and welfare meeting. Yukari meets Rorina after Tekta introduces his wife to her. The FB agent explains to them that having sex is healthy for the body and mind throughout the meeting, and in general, according to reports, the couples who attend the meeting are encouraged, which supports the idea of pregnancy. In their executive order, repopulation chambers, everyone receives several condoms that have been approved by the government. Following a tutorial, couples enter the rooms they have been given. However, before leaving, Yajima, one of the FBI agents, informs Yukari that they'll be keeping an eye on things in the adjacent room out of fear for what Yajima has told him. After forcing himself to kiss Rorina, Yukari makes out with her before stopping to apologize when he notices that she is crying. He warns Rorina that they are being watched, but she rebukes him for being stupid because she is aware that they are not being watched. Yukari leaves the room after she admits that she fears him and what they do because it's against the law. Yukari observes Yajima chastising him for lying, but Yajima queries whether Misiki was also at fault. A few days after the incident, Yukari would have already been serving the nation. In the meantime, her class is getting ready for the upcoming cultural festival. While attempting to assist in the creation of the props, Nisaka is compelled to take on the role of Juliet, while Misiki is cast as Romeo. Hearing this, Yukari hurts himself and needs to be taken to the hospital. This Misuki rushes into the space and queries Yukari about his well-being. She is reassured by Yukari, who tells her not to worry about tomorrow. He approaches Yajima once more and requests aid. Jima advises him to follow his heart because he knows someone who disregarded his instincts and allowed the government's dating system and his ambivalence to ruin him. When Yukari learns of this, she tries to invite Rorina and make up with her. Nisaka tells Yukari to mind his own business when he sees him at the festival after he has already left the classroom. When Nisaka's father shows up, he cautions him against harming his friends. Then, after apologizing to Yukari, Nisaka's father extends an invitation to a restaurant. Nisaka's past is made more clear to Yukari, and his father advises him to safeguard Misaka. As soon as they are done eating, the boys leave, and Yukari tells Nisaka that they are literally Romeo and Juliet, comparing the inability to love someone you love to receiving government handouts for a spouse. The following day, Misuki follows Yukari as he leaves their room to deliver their props, and the two end up next to a building. Yukari assures Misaki that he loves her when she inquires about whether he has already fallen in love with Ronina. This Iki remembers Yukari in her memories. She tells him she still loves Yukari while sobbing that she wasn't chosen for him. Yukari reassures her that he loves her and gives her a hug despite all the obstacles in her path. Everyone is getting ready for the festival by making costumes and props. Flyer duty is given to Yukari. He observes Misuki's friends arrive, and as soon as they are out of sight, carefully tries to elude them. When he sees Yajima, he promises to look into his worry that Rorina was improperly assigned to him. Before the play, Yukai confides in Nisaka that he is concerned about his imposter syndrome, but Nisaka assures him that nothing will happen without Yukai. Nisaka promises to demonstrate to him why Yukari's support is the best option. After the play, Yuki meets Igarashi. Did that ever occur? She reveals that she is trying to protect Misuki by telling him that his match is actually Misaki, not the classmate she is avoiding. Ronina hears this and presses her for more information, but Igarashi responds, she can only say that. Rorina asks Yukari to assist her the following day, after explaining that they need to learn more about what Igarashi is aware of. Arriving at the ministry's building, Rorina and Yukari discover a bond when they meet Igarashi. That is more significant than the letter that Misuki and Yukai exchanged. She continues by saying that she once detested Misuki, but after learning of her genuine affection for Yukari, she immediately went to her mother. Instinctively wanting to defend her relationship, Yajima shows up and informs Igarashi that she shouldn't be interfering with their affairs, particularly with the notices she leaves, and that she shouldn't have discussed this with Yukai, who doesn't even intend to choose Misaki at this time. That evening, Ronina asks Yukari if he'll pick Misaki, but he's unsure. He appreciates Ronina's straightforward character, which figuratively makes matters more difficult. The group goes to Nisaka's older brother's wedding the following day. During the journey to the reception, the two girls accept the hall manager's offer to have Misaki and Rorina serve as bridal models for their promotional wedding gowns. Misuki tells Rorina that Yukari had a significant influence on the way she lives her life today, and requests an invitation to her wedding so she can give a speech. The bride is about to throw her flower bouquet after the wedding ceremony. As soon as Yukari enters the room and informs them that he unintentionally left his phone on their table, Misuki is on the floor sobbing after the ceremony, and Yukari consoles her. The following day, Ronina witnesses Misuki ask him to confess his love to her through the tiny door that had just opened. The Najimas are invited to the Sonata's exclusive hot spring. Naturally, after bathing, the family gathered them in one space. In an attempt to fall asleep, the two return to their room but are unable to do so. Instead, they simply discuss their feelings, mustering all the courage she possesses to do so. Yukari is advised by Rorina to pick Misuki. Yukari queries Ronina about her meaning because she appears perplexed by common sense. Rorina expresses her gratitude to Yukari for changing her life significantly as a result of her encounter with him. She also tells him that the government shouldn't have a say in whether or not he can love Misuki. She then explains to Yukari that she did some research and discovered that if they claim they don't get along, they can dissolve the assigned marriage in 6 months. She has long known that Yukari adores Misaki, and she feels the same way. She decides that Yukari can practice kissing with her, since she will be reassigned to someone else once their plan begins because she genuinely wants to support them, even if she will risk hurting Yukari's feelings by telling him she will still be by his side. The following day, Nisaka visits Yukari and inquires as to why he won't be seeing Misuki. Rorina Yukai gives him a hazy explanation of how he feels, but after some self-criticism and wise counsel, Nisaka encourages him to see the two of them. Misaka Yukari realizes his error and makes an even worse mistake. In order to meet Ronina and Misuki, Yukari leaves their house and runs to them. Misuki is aware that what he is doing is wrong, but he rushes to the photo shoot location to meet the girls in their wedding gowns, to be fair. They all decide to remain together after he opens the church doors and professes his love for them both. If you made it this far into the video, make sure to like and subscribe.